Well, greetings, world, and greetings, Seven Spot. I'm here with my good two friends, Dave Lassell and Duncan Cowper, because it is a soggy, wet day in Newark, and we are here to document the nice inside ambiance where it's not raining down. And I'm here, sitting here in brand new, I guess it's Seven Spot Studio with my darling sister-in-law's T-Bird behind me. Great little setup. And Dave is in Nashville, Tennessee, and I don't know where Duncan is, but I think he's probably somewhere in Essex. Is that about right?
Yeah, well, we're just on the border. We're Hertfordshire, which is just by Stansted Airport, which is where I am, Bishop Stortford.
Well, that is so cool. Welcome back to the UK, Duncan, because you just had a wonderful time at Pikes Peak.
Yeah, we took my little car there. It was a three-man team. Two of us ran the car for the tyre test. We managed to qualify 22nd out of 70, and we ended up finishing. And also we finished third in unlimited, and as a rookie we managed to break the 10-minute barrier, which is quite a small club. I think it's around 5 or 6 people have only ever gone sub 10 as a rookie.
Wow, that's absolutely awesome. And quickly, I mean, pretty much everybody knows about your car, but can you tell us about your turbo Dax Rush?
Yeah, I think 2008 I built it. I've sprinted it, hill climbed, and also done things like time attack with the car over many years. Had quite good success with it, and then a bit of a harebrained idea of going out to Pikes with it. But basically, it's a Gen 1 booster with, me and Jeff Page and Jack from Whole Shop from years. It's all have developed something now that's turned into quite a good package. But we've run some big power. We've run up to sort of 500 horsepower at the wheels with the car over the years, but you struggle to keep everything together. So we detuned it for Pikes, changed the turbo. So we ran about 387 at the wheels, about 245 foot-pounds of torque.
Oh, nice.
We run a very trick ECU, which comes from the LMP cars, which is a full life racing F88 ECU, which is just an amazing piece of kit. I mean, mine's quite old now, but it still just can monitor and just make the engine do things it just can't do with other ECUs. So a speed sensor on there for the turbo, barometric pressure, but it actually monitors. You've got 88 inputs on it, so we can keep everything in check.
Wow, what a car! I mean, and it's a Gen 1 booster, right?
Gen 1 booster. So it's geared for about, I think about 161. I think we hit 158 down the back straight at Snetterton in it. Around about 60 in first. Does 0 to 100 in 5.6 seconds on road tyres. It does 10.9 quarter of a mile on an unprepped concrete track. So
very nice.
But I might lose you here, but we'll see. I don't know whether I can still hear. Yeah, it's still there. So I mean, the car has been many years, just as fun really. I worked at Dax for many years, from when I was sort of 16, 17. I worked down at Dax with Gary Sanders and Peter Walker, and between us all, we developed the suspension on it to where it is now. Mine runs inboard shocks, which is quite unique.
Yes.
It was development work when we were there, and unfortunately Dax, sold the Rush project, so we didn't end up doing any more development. But what we had in plan for the new car would have been quite special, I think, if we'd have ever got there. Still on the drawing board somewhere.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? You've blessed us with your presence today. I really appreciate this.
No problem.
And I got to tell you, we're praying. We're all praying that maybe you'll come back and we can do a proper show and maybe a walk around of the car when it comes back. Is it still in transit? Where is it?
It's in Denver at the moment. We haven't decided how we're getting it back yet, but no, I'd be more than happy, and I say we can do a bit more of an in-depth, thing on all the bits we've done over the years.
Yeah, because we were chatting before we got on air here just about your general development of the car and the history of the stuff that you're doing. And you know what? It's a story that a lot of people don't know, and I think it would make terrific stuff. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing it.
Like I say, we do it for fun. We're not professionals. I'm not an aerodynamicist. Some people said, "Oh, you can't put aero on the 7; it won't work." There's the brick. There was a 7 ran at Pikes in the 60s or early 70s with a V8 sort of Cobra engine in it. So we're not. I don't think the first 7 to ever run, but we're definitely the fastest.
Yeah. Well, I will say this one thing, Duncan, is I think that your ear pods are about to pass out.
I think, but no, we'll do it again, and we'll
get a bit more into the.
Now you're back, and it sounds great.
Side of it.
Yeah, well, that sounds wonderful. So I'll let you get on with your day, and you have a great day. And we will talk to you later, and we will see you at 7 Spot.
All right, lovely.
All right, cheers for now.
Thanks a lot.
All
cheers.
Right.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Well, what do you think about that, Dave?
Oh man, that's crazy. I've watched all of the videos that the Pikes Peak production people made, and I threw that up in the chat. There's an little interview with him. He talks about when he built his car with his dad, and it's like anything at Pikes Peak's kind of emotionally charged, but it's pretty great that he revived a family project, and then this thing is so fast. It's terrifying. I wouldn't even want it. I mean, I'll take it around the block, but
that's how I am. I've got the same engine in mine as he has. Only his is turboed, and he used to have a much larger turbo on his. And believe me, I've been in caterooms with the 1440 cc, and they're marginally quicker, like unnoticeably quicker than mine. But I got to tell you, I would probably crap my jeans if I was sitting in the passenger seat of his car. There's no question.
What's it called? I think MK had a guy who had a turbo booster. I think they resold his car a couple of months ago. It's white, and he had a turbo booster, and Sean went out with him driving around, and it's just like I don't know that it's like smart for the road. It's I can't imagine putting that much power on the street, like for fun. I mean, maybe it would be fun for a little bit, but then you get very quickly you become YouTube famous for turning left,
Yeah, can I be honest and candid? I've been that guy.
You looped it, huh? All 4 wheels gotta go same direction, Jim.
Yeah. Sometimes, your right foot is your worst enemy. Just miss the apex by that much.
Yeah. Hashtag Checo Perez.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for co-hosting our show with us today. I got to say, this is absolutely fabulous. And I got to introduce you. World, this is Dave Lassell. And Dave is our latest show host, and he's got his own YouTube channel, and I'm going to do all the links to that in the dibbly-doo below this in the description, so you can go and tune in, because his channel is about the pleasure of being human when you're building a high-cost, low-cost. Can you tell us quickly about that?
Yeah, man, I'm building a low-cost. I have a 442 chassis up on my table. doing it with Miata running gear. Well, I'm putting using the whole Miata rear subframe because I'm a little bit lazier than some of the other guys that really want to build a Voodoo chassis. And what else? Oh, right. I'm not ashamed to make mistakes, and I let people know that it's okay to just, screw up. My first video is like the funniest, and then everything else is just picking through problems so far with the motor, which is buttoned up, and using a K24, JDM K24 with S2000 transmission. So at some point I'll have to go up the street and get a drive shaft made for that. Because those aren't, instantly compatible. But it's fun. I like doing it. I like fabrication, and with the number of kits that have been sold and put together and some of the stuff you can find on the internet, I'm not terrified to complete the project.
And it's good to sometimes, at least what I found from my build experience, and I just built from a kit, there's a certain amount of solace that you can find, and in serenity in that space, being by yourself and going to places that you've not gone before. So it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to play a little bit of, now you did an interview with Bob.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you put that up on your YouTube channel. Have you done that yet? I
haven't, because, it's the summer.
Oh, yeah.
So
no worries.
Once I'm in work mode, I'll function again. But I'm trying.
What I'd like to do, if it's all right with you, is I'd like to play a few excerpts of it so that people can see that you are not only a 442 low-cost fanatic, you are you're seven nuts just like me.
Oh, yeah, man. Bob's really cool. He's in the Northern Virginia. He's like one of the head I don't know, high up, whatever guys in the Northern Virginia Lotus Club. So if anybody's on the East Coast watching this, go to Katie's Cars and Coffee and check out. I think they're going to have 3 7s there today. And he's got some interesting stuff in his house.
Well, let's have a look.
Yeah. All right. This is not smart. So, okay, that failed. Also not that.
So this is the preamble of your show number 1.
Oh, yeah.
And this is his car that he let you drive.
Yeah. Foolish of him, but it's fine. Oh, the audio didn't come through.
It didn't come through. This is not.
That's fine. So I'll narrate because I know what's happening. So he has like 4.5-inch motorcycle headlights and turn signals. Whoever built this car before him, this is an 06, and the guy who built it before him put smaller headlights on it. And I kind of dig the smaller headlight look. I don't know, somehow it makes it a little more modern. Just having that slightly smaller. I mean, I don't know how big 7-inch buckets would look, but the 4.5s actually look totally fine. And all his stuff is, he's got polished frame, and he keeps a bunch of bags and things in his car just in case he gets a call to say, hey, we also need this, but he also keeps the tonneau cover on the passenger, on the passenger side.
And I think
most of the time.
You're commenting that it was great for doing groceries.
Oh, yeah.
You're pointing him in a direction.
And then he got this, that's his factory mirror that's like completely cracked, but you also can't see past the roof, the hood cover that's in the back. Now this is he bought new Elise, but he wanted to make it look like the Formula One livery. Yeah. So this white with gold stripe is actually a vinyl wrap. He had somebody he showed it to a guy, and they were like,
it's a vinyl wrap. I love that livery. That's my favorite.
It's so clean. And the wheels, the color on the wheels is like really nice. When you see that thing in person, you're like, oh yeah, this is what it should look like. And he has the regular wheels somewhere. Or these are the ones that they had them powder coated. They had a difficult time matching the finish and the color. But he drives this everywhere, and there's a picture of him with the lady who the Elise was named after. She's standing next to his car in a field with all the Lotus guys, and her name's Elisa. And I was like, "What the? Okay, cool." He goes a lot of places.
Wow, that's very cool. Well, we got some comments coming in, so we're going to show Brian Brush.
Oh yeah, Brian has that on his Miata. Dude, it looks so slick. There's something so clean about that red top, the gold stripe. If you get it in the right place, the ratios of the colors, man, it looks nice.
And who's up next? Now this is Paul Wild Mini Booger, and he's a mini guy, and he's not at Newark this weekend, but I've asked him if he wanted to pop in for a quick chat. And Paul, if you're there, you've got the link. Just click it, and we'll have a quick say hi at about the show. Who else have we got here?
Minis are cool, man.
Yeah, and the stuff that he and his group do, it's absolutely fabulous. And Brian is adding. Oh, he just added that his Miata has that livery. We all love that livery. It's absolutely fabulous. So just take those out of there. And while we're waiting, this whole thing about the show we're doing, it's kind of it's a show that's about the show. And I know that we've got some folks who will be calling in from the show because it's wet and soggy there. I know that Trevor and Jason are doing YouTube videos, and we've got some guys that are going to be calling in from the show. And for instance, I've been told, and we're praying that we're getting a call in from some guys from Westfield who are at the show, and they'll add to the ambiance. And we've got a few other people that are going to pop in. But what I'd like to do while we're waiting, and if you don't mind, we've got the stream that we did from Malvern, and I'd like to add that to it, and maybe we can just comment on some of your thoughts about that show, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
I've played with cars and things since I was a kid, really, but I really got more involved in.
This is Jerry Hawkridge of Hawk
Oh man,
like that in the
I want a
late
Lancia
70s.
Stratos so bad.
Partly because it's when I sort of had the time.
But I'd get a lot of trouble if I started one now.
Properly.
Yeah.
I started off by doing this sort of
and his cars are so special. I mean, there's exact, well, they not exact replicas, but he has got some made that are exact replicas. But it's just like an unbelievable the engineering that he's put into this car.
A little business called Classico doing spare parts for Stratuses, and he ran.
Yeah, on this one he's talking about in the green car, he actually has a real Dino.
I know.
A
real Dino engine.
How do you even find that? I mean, he's in a place where he's probably in contact with a lot of people that would have information about stuff like that, but they just look so clean.
Yeah. Well, this one is the latest of some of the ones that we're doing.
What a success that show was. I thought I got to say. I mean, after many years of kit car shows that have come and gone. It needed a relook.
And so this used to be Stoneleigh, right?
That's right, but now it's at Malvern.
Yeah.
But GRP. This one's
now,
actually
listen to this door close. Okay. Boom.
But the door is the same as the one on the fiberglass kit. And all the
his cars are just amazing.
This one is a bit of a special car as far as the chassis and body section.
And the car is absolutely.
And whereas that car, if you look over in that one,
exact
it's got a V6 Alfa Romeo
copy
engine.
of a Lancia Stratos.
Just a little bit too far.
Well,
I think if I
started filming, Jerry was going to test me, so I'm going to have a look. Now he's
what's he on, like a 3-year?
Pointing at something.
It's like on a 3-year wait right now
because it says Dino.
So Paul just texted us back. He's stuck under a truck at work at the moment and just listening to the stream. Well, thanks for listening, Paul. Really appreciate it. We'll get back in touch with you because we do want to do something with you live or recorded. So stay in touch.
Some of the Ferrari 246 engines because they got a surplus of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
And most of them had the later.
Now, what a day it is
the engine
right
in this
now
car is
in
Ferrari
in
246
Newark.
engine,
I mean,
and
it
it's
is
pretty damn
absolutely
faithful to an original.
peeing
This is
down
virtually
sideways.
a tool-room
So
copy
nobody
of an
came?
original car.
Like,
Oh,
Every bit,
strangely.
even
I'm
the
sure those guys
cartwheels
showed
in the
up.
same spacing.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and
as far as
everything else.
I
the
think
show is
the
concerned,
detail
there's
on it's
lots
fantastic.
lots of
And
them.
is this a car you're going to
The
supply? Is this just a
manufacturers are
one-off?
showing up,
I've got a batch
but
of 3 going through at the moment.
it's the
We
general
might do a
public,
couple
right?
more.
And
Yeah.
especially
I'm
the
also
campers and
doing
that sort of
a
stuff.
halfway
Who's going to
house.
want to
Outdoor
go out?
parking
And,
area is going to
Quite
be a little
expensive.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
little interesting.
You're
4-wheel
looking
drive
for quite a
required.
lot of money to be able to get the right
Yeah.
engine. And the engines, although it's lovely to have the right engine,
look at
it's
that.
a lot more expensive.
JTM
reliable
2003
and not as
Dad,
powerful as the
also
other
known as
V6.
John Minion, is
But
streaming it
Oh.
to his
it's nice to do it
TV.
right.
It's raining.
Good old
And
John.
that's what you're known
Yeah.
for.
You mean you
That's
didn't
what
take
you're
your
doing right.
R1
I even go to the trouble of going
MK
very high
there,
up the
John?
mountains
No, but you know he'll
No
be there
roof.
tomorrow. He will be there
Mice with a
tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sure,
thick
man.
enough fur
Yeah.
coat
John goes everywhere.
to be able to trim the dashboard.
And he's identified himself.
because they're
John
doing
Minion.
mouse hair.
But that's
I
that's gonna
wonder
run beyond
if
as you've always
the
done,
Well,
Jerry.
yeah.
I don't.
So
My
The
geography is
suspension and
terrible.
everything else on this
But I
is
wonder.
very, very
I didn't
close
see
to
in
the
Trevor's
suspension on
video
another
if
kit.
the
It's virtually
Northwest Kit
interchangeable.
guys went to this
On the
show,
front
but I
end, it's
guess
changed
is
from
Malvern not
electric
north or
to
west?
Imperial, but that's the only
Uh,
And I know
well,
John does a lot of good charity work with that group. So,
Yeah.
guys,
No,
if you're on here and you don't know about Northwest Kit Car Owners Group, look
Well-
them up.
Get it right.
Donate.
Well,
Is it- the last
I
time
can
they
act-
gave like 7,800 pounds or something.
Yeah.
We've got
No,
3
they do terrific charity work. And John, if I know you're listening, why don't you click in? We got lots of room for you. Just pop in and we'll have a quick chat. But
Yeah,
just to put things in perspective, the Northwest Kit Car Owners Group is basically for anybody in the UK. And
Oh, yeah.
so you don't have to be in the Northwest.
I don't even
Yeah.
think they care if you actually own a kit car.
You have to own a kit car.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well-
Or be building one.
yeah. Well, see,
Yeah.
that's how I'm going to join.
Yeah. Yeah. And John is commenting that he ran a 13.9 and 102 miles per hour at Kit Fest. So there you go.
Yeah.
Outside of the UK.
And I think he had to put new clutch after that.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but
and of course, running parallel to this,
Yeah.
we've also got
yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw Trevor's little preview video last night
Yeah.
when he walked through the empty.
and,
I don't know how he managed that.
Lovely car. It's got a
He
Ford in it.
he like did a whole walkthrough of the barn last night. Pointed out who people were there.
Yeah.
This car is
No, it's
been on
absolutely
the road
fabulous.
now
You
for
got to
about 13
hand.
years.
What can I say?
Really?
Can't
And,
say enough
yeah,
about
it's a lovely,
the
lovely
work
car.
that Trevor and Jason are doing.
The
Quite candidly, you know, I happened to find them because I wanted to do a video about Robin Hood, and I found Trevor
Oh, right.
through the beauty of the internet, and what a blessing. He wanted to join this the spot, and he jumped into this role, and boy, has he ever well, they both have taken it to a new level. Just look at what they're doing.
Yeah, didn't Trevor used to sell kit cars, or he was
Yeah, he had his
involved
own
somehow?
the Dart.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he had it. Looks like somebody else is popping
Uh-oh,
in.
John's here.
Yeah, John's here.
Hey.
Now, John, before we go on, I'm going to tell you one thing. Check your settings and make sure that your microphone is on, and give it a quick test, and we'll add you to the stream. And I think what I'm going to do is just pause Jerry here for a
Yeah.
moment.
That video is really great, but
Yeah. Yeah. Now he's reaching for his headset. Typical John. Here we go. And I move John into here. Hello, John. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you should be able to hear me now.
All right, cool. I'm going to see if I can move you into the picture and move Jerry out. Do it this way. There we go. How are you doing, John? Hi, John. God bless you,
Yeah,
John.
very, very well. It's I'm cold. It's raining outside.
Yeah, I was in touch.
Oh yeah.
It's now 5:54 in the morning where I am, and And I've been in touch with some guys in Newark from the Northwest Kit Car Owners Group, and it is soggy and wet. How you doing, John?
I've got a slight time lag. I'm going to drop out and then
Yeah,
go
you come on back
again.
in. Yeah. How's it sounding for you, Dave?
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, good.
Although I think I'm using my computer microphone and not my earbuds microphone. I don't know. We'll fiddle with that some other time.
Yeah, well, you
Unimportant.
know what? This is the beauty of doing live streams. It's the unique opportunity to crash and burn. And like nobody here is a professional. We just do the best we can and see how it works.
Yeah.
And we got John coming back into the stream. Hello again, John. How are you?
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Is it better? Good.
Oh, yeah. It's clearer, too.
Yeah. So you're inside where you belong, not outside in the rain.
No, it's not a nice day out there. It's trying to brighten up, but I think we've got rain all day, which is a shame. It's still going to be a good kit car show, though.
It will, and I've actually seen some of the photos from some of the guys out in the pitch in the groups, and you know, amazingly enough, there are people there. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And you're going up there tomorrow, are you not?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I've got my car back this morning, my day car, so I'll be going up there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Northwest Kit Car, they've got a stand there as well, so they went up Friday night with Jalopy, our marketing and support vehicle, so they're already there.
Yeah, and I guess you've repaired the broken wheel bearing, was it? It was.
It's a wheel bearing, and it was due to. It's been in for routine maintenance anyway. It was due routine maintenance, so yeah, it's been fully looked over. A couple of little things needed doing on it. Just renewed the insurance on it as well with A Plan Insurance. They did us a really good deal on it actually. So yeah, that went up again Friday. Yeah, Friday afternoon, I think it was. Yeah. So yeah, Jalopy will be there.
Perfect. But you won't be taking the MK.
No, that's still in the garage. I need to look at that. Well, I've only just got my car back, which has got a tow bar on, so I could have towed it there. But in this weather, you don't normally tow an open top car with a cover on. You'll just beat it to death.
Yeah, I know.
I will get myself there. You know, say hello to the manufacturers. There's a lot of there's more manufacturers going this time than Malvern as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's some other some manufacturers that we have not seen, and I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's one that I can't remember the name, but they've retuned an Ultima and they're racing it in several 24-hour.
What was it? CJS, I think.
So it looks an awesome machine.
Yeah,
that looks crazy.
Yeah, awesome looking. Yeah, I mean,
it could be like it looks like it's ready to go do endurance racing and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And as far as you and the Northwest Kit Car Owners Group, are you planning to go live tomorrow as well?
We'll see. I'm just waiting for my son to come over because I don't have a smartphone. I've only got my PC, which is what I'm on at the moment.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple of members that have got the link. Let's see if we can go live from there. I think there's going to be a presentation as well at some stage. I don't know if you've seen it because we're at Malvern, Northwest Kit Car Owners Group, with a lot of other kit car groups. But Northwest Kit Car Owners Group actually won the Best Stand Award, which is it's icing on the cake for us at Malvern. It was a brilliant event, brilliant show, brilliant location. But yeah, we won Best Stand Award, which means we get a donation of £250 from XCS Designs. That will go to our charity that we support, which is Clare House. Mm-hmm. It also means next year at Malvern, any Northwest Kit Car Owners Group driving in with a kit car, get free camping as well. So, it's something for charity and it's something for our members. So we're really pleased, and we get a little cup that we can keep as well. So yeah, really had a really great weekend. at
Yeah, I got
Malvern.
a quick question about Malvern. I mean, you and I did a live stream from Stoneleigh, and it was a great show. But what's the vibe like at Malvern, in your opinion?
Absolutely brilliant. The whole place was buzzing. The trade manufacturers liked it. There were some parts and tool stands as well. They liked it. The weather helped because it was a glorious weekend. The club stands outside, a lot of people went to. The Cobra Owners Club put on a fantastic stand. Westfield were there as well with their, I think they called it Westfield Avenue. Just a whole host of kit car owners groups that were there that were parked up. It was a big. It was definitely a good move. Definitely a good move because I think the Sandown was too big. I think Sandown were wanting and charging too much, so it just did. Sandown was just not viable, I think. But Malvern, on the other hand, absolutely brilliant.
So that's like why they moved from the calling it the Stoneleigh show, just because of the logistics of the location.
Well, I
it was
really
always going to
don't
be
know.
a big gamble because Stoneleigh is nowhere near Malvern. But yeah, it was a different catchment area, but a lot of people turned up, so that's what counts at the end of the day.
Well, I wonder if it's got anything to do with the way Grosvenor has approached it. And I think that, it's got new life all of a sudden. From what I don't know Paul Slater at all, but I have chatted with him on the internet with text and that sort of thing. But it seems to me that there's new life being breathed into kit cars and kit car shows with Paul, with Grosvenor. I know that you're in touch with Grosvenor all the time. So, John, so what's your opinion on the way that Grosvenor is approaching kit cars and shows
absolutely
now?
Brilliant, and absolutely brilliant. And I think there's been more promotion now across Facebook groups, which perhaps there wasn't as much in the past. And I know they do adverts and things like that.
That's
we've
that's
obviously
largely
helped out on our groups.
That's largely due
to
people like you and me, John.
Well, in part, but also, other people have joined in and got on the bandwagon because I think a lot of kit car manufacturers now are putting out their own videos as well, which is brilliant. I mean, MK do a weekly one that goes out over Facebook. We're just getting and YouTube, but people can actually see what's out there. A lot of the time on a weekly basis, and the quality of the videos that they are putting out now are just absolutely top notch. They really are. If you look at the one that there's one that sticks in my mind as well from XCS Designs. That was a great video, and DJC Sports Cars as well. With their car.
I'm keen to do more with Dan Carpenter. I mean, at DJC, he's flying under the radar right now with his car, and it's an amazing piece of kit.
The engineering on it. If you have a look at the video that I've posted, a lot of other people have posted, just have a look at the engineering on that car, or go and see it. And the thing I like about it is a 3-seater.
Yeah.
I don't know of another. I could be wrong, but I don't know of another 3-seater that's out there.
Yeah. Not
well,
in terms
and
of
it's got 500 horsepower in the back of it as well.
Yeah, I threw that in the chat, and that's the smartest thing ever, I think, because you can't just go to your friend's place and just take them and leave their kids standing on the side of the road.
That's true. It's a different type of it's a different type of vibe, though. I mean, obviously, for us 2-seaters, you get used to having that person sitting beside you, and you kind of have to look at your entourage through the rear view mirror.
Yeah, they can have 2 of those little baby monitor mirrors.
Yeah,
to see how scared the people in the back are.
I was going to say, because you've also got the central driving position, which I guess you'd have to get used to, because I'm sat on the right, you guys are sat on the left, but then the passengers sit slightly behind you, as you say, as well. But
It's your
Dan's
very
promised me
own
to take me
McLaren
down the
F1.
Santa Pod quarter mile when he goes to Kit Fest in it. So I'll keep you posted when I get a video.
Now, one of the things that you're doing, John, for Northwest Kit Car Owners Group is you've developed the news, your newsletter. And if you don't mind, perhaps you can, when you do get a chance, send me a link to the newsletter so we can get more people in touch with what you're doing for Northwest Kit Car Owners Group. Have we lost you?
It's something which is constantly developing. We did want a newsletter. We looked at publishing one, i.e. hard copy, but that was going to cost like £2,000 a time. And it was by a firm. We looked at several firms, and there was one down in London.
Yeah.
So it has taken a while coming because we couldn't find the right software. But then Jim, you pointed me to Substack.
Well,
so that's what we're using. Very easy to use.
I think
at the moment
it's fair enough. The only thing I would add is we're at an age, John, you and me, that we're used to having our news and our magazines delivered in hard copy form. But kids like Dave beside us know that things are delivered nowadays via the internet, and the days of having to lug around a piece of paper between two covers is long past. So having things delivered digitally is the way going forward.
I mean, Total Kit Car and Complete Kit Car, but they're still offering the hard print, but they're also offering it in digital format as well. So plus they can post internationally, or if you get the digital, you just download it on your PC and look at it. And I've looked at both, and they're great. We're just using Substack. I mean, at the moment, the hardcore newsletter just goes out to hardcore members. But we are looking to widen that as we go forward. It's we've got regular sections in there now.
Well, because just maybe you can explain that to the audience. I mean, Northwest Kit Car Owners Group on Facebook has two representations. One is the hardcore, which is basically members who have signed up and taken the pledge and paid the funds to join. And then there's a free group, if you want to call it that, and anybody can join and be a supporter. And it's kind of nice, you just mentioned it, that if you could do a Substack, just doing general coverage of some of the fun stuff you do. And it doesn't take much, especially, these days, all you have to do is drop in a link to a video that you create. And between you and your son, you should be able to pick up loads of it. I know that there's loads of guys in your group that have YouTube channels too. So you can just drop them right in there. It's easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of Northwest Kit Car hardcore, we've actually got 3 groups, well, 4 including Kit Fest. We've got a Kit Fest page as well. But basically, we've got Kit Car Roots and Toots, which you can just post videos or details of your favorite roads, that kind of thing. We've then got Northwest Kit Car Northwest Kit Car Owners Group. That is also free to join. Very active as well. We've then got the Northwest Kit Car Hardcore Group. Now that is what we call the donation side, and that is where we do all our fundraising from. It costs £12 a year to join. It's been that for the last 5 years. So once you've joined that, you get access to a lot of benefits in terms of discount. We've got a lot of major suppliers that we've signed up, and they give us some significant discount. I mean, Protect shocks, for instance. If you buy some Protect shocks, you will get 15% discount. 15%, yeah. And insurance companies as well. A-Plan we get a discount with. The hardcore donation side, it's going really well. Last year, it's the biggest ever we raised. This is before gift aid as well. We raised, I think it was £9,000. That was about £1,000. It's taken our donation fee that we've made to Clare House, who we support. It's taken it to £38,500, including gift aid, which is just incredible for the size of our group. But we do put a lot of work into it. I think Jim's having a few problems there. Jim, you've muted yourself. You're doing what I normally do.
That'll probably be a little bit better. I'm having some technical difficulties here and chatting with a few people at the same time. So I do apologize. Perhaps if you don't mind, you were talking about Clare House. There's probably a lot of people don't understand what Clare House is. Could you just maybe just tell what Clare House is?
Yeah, it's basically they provide it's basically you could call it a care home, but they provide respite for parents, but also end of life care for terminally ill children, which is never a nice thing to talk about. Now I have worked in the care industry, not with children, but in sort of elderly care and vulnerable people, and I know how tight the funding is. A lot of it comes from governments, a lot of it comes from the councils, but they're all trying to cut back. So yeah, the 38,500 that we've donated over the 4 years we've been running, I think it's 4 or 5 years, it will go a long way to helping those children in their last moments of their lives. Basically, we know as well that when people donate to our club, 100% of what people donate goes directly to Clare House, and we know that is spent on the children. I don't being an accountant, I'm a bit sad. I don't donate to any other charity apart from Northwest Kit Car Owners Group and Clare House. If you look at all the other charities out there, you'll get flyers through the post or adverts. Some of them, for every £1 you donate, only 20p will get to the people that need it. And that's because you've got directors taking out salaries, you've got paying for rent. So if you are going to donate to another charity, do your homework and just see how much of, say, £1 or $1 actually gets to the people that need it. I think you'll be shocked.
Yeah, I've done that before, and I get offended literally when I get the paid robo dialer calling me up, and for exactly the same reasons you just described, because the funds that are being delivered or solicited just in no way are finding their way to the cause. It's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, some of it does, but I tell you now, some of them are very, very small. I'm not going to name anybody, but some of them are very, very small percentages. Yeah, I was disgusted, to be honest, with some of them. You donate your money thinking it's going to a good cause. Well, only 20p of it will actually get there. Yeah.
Well, along that line about the Northwest Kit Car Owners Group, I know that Paul just mentioned Trevor and the work he does. He's tireless, but my God, he's hard to pin down for an interview too. What does he spend all of his time just in the recruitment thing? Is that what he does? Well, that question's going nowhere. Looks like you're
on your own now, Jim.
Yeah, I'm on my own.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
You got 4 minutes, buddy.
You got 4 minutes to fill?
Yeah.
What's happening in 4 minutes there, Dave?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, now John's moving, so he'll probably be able to answer that. No, I know that Trevor's having to stand for everybody to walk up, but I don't see a stream started yet. I
think you broke up a little bit there. I've just closed a couple of things down. I went into open.
Yeah. No, we were talking about Trevor. I wasn't talking about our Trevor 7 spot. I was talking about Trevor Harmer. I guess Trevor is busy, probably the busiest guy I know in terms of recruitment for Northwest Kit Car Owners Group. but boy, he's hard to pin down for an interview. Like you, all I have to do is click you a link, and you're in like Flint.
I'm trying to get one this weekend with him, but he has got the link. I'll be seeing him tomorrow anyway, and if not, I'll just tie him to a chair, grab his phone, and do the link and point it at him. But it should be along shortly. He's I think you will have seen it as well. I mean, not only has he got that tiger, which has been well, a lot of money's been spent on that, and he's putting out a ridiculous amount of power. But he's just finished his Cobra, which you will have seen, and I think he's gone in that this weekend. He's got no wet weather gear, no nothing. Fabulous. So I hope he's got a change of clothes.
Yeah,
I hope he's got a change of clothes because he's going to be soaking.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful car. I've been watching and following him on the build of that car, and where he finds the time. I mean, he's a busy tradesman by trade, and finds the time to do all the stuff he does. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and it's all the event organising as well, because that doesn't happen overnight. I mean, even like Kitfest it takes a big chunk of people's time. Other members, they've just been to Le Mans as well. That was 10 days away. All booking the camping sites, that kind of thing, booking tickets, booking the ferries. So it's always been busy. Yeah.
Coolness. Well, John, I'm going to wish you a very, very good day and say thank you for popping in to have a chat with us. If you'd like to hang in and be with us for the rest of the show, that you're most welcome. But if you got to disappear, that's cool too. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. In terms of what we got coming up next, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm around all day, so I'll be watching and dropping in and out because, if for people that can't get to the show, this is just great, absolutely great. People can actually see what was there, and like Trevor running around and doing the interview, Trevor Rolfe, that is just great, and talking technical. Okay, didn't make it to the show. A lot of people won't go because of the rain, but at least you can see what was there. So brilliant. Keep it coming.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much. All right. You have yourself a great day, and we will see you at 7 Spot. And you always say this. What is it you say?
Absolutely.
Be seeing you.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you.
All right. Cheers, John.
Yeah, good to catch up, and I'll catch you later.
All right. Cheers.
See you, John.
Well, it looks like the two of us are back in touch. I did want to have a chat with you about some of the stuff we are planning in terms of our, 7 Spot future. We've got a couple of shows coming up that I think are going to be pretty dynamic. One is that last night I had a very late night chat with Mark Norden of MNR. And he's someone I've been wanting to track down for a long time. And he said, let's do a recording. So in the near future, I'm going to be doing not a live stream. I think I'm going to do a recorded live stream using the StreamYard link that we're kind of doing right now. Similar, but we'll do a recording and then be able to edit that down and for a nice presentation. And then aside from that, what we do have coming up, and I think I made a video about this previously. I belong to the Lotus Car Club of British Columbia, and not that I own a Lotus, because I don't. I own a low cost, a Demon Motorsport low cost. They asked me to join the group, which is really nice of them. They're a great group of guys. But the president of the club, Ron Kubara, also owns a very cool car, an Elva Courier. And, we're in the business at 7 Spot of light and fast cars. Would you believe that a 1958 Elva Courier weighs 1,300 pounds?
That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
That's just not very much, man. That's That's less than my 7's going to weigh, just with the barely stuff I've got in it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it has a complete fiberglass shell on the outside. Now the fiberglass shell is micro thin. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
can
it's
literally
2
rip it
layers,
off if you want. Yeah,
just enough to cover the holes.
but it's also pretty quick too, because instead of having an MGA or an MGB engine in it, it has not a cross flow, but a Lotus twin cam engine, so 170 horsepower. So it is quick. So we're looking for.
Did you drive around in his car when you were over there?
I didn't drive with him, but I've had an interview with him on more than one occasion about the car, and it just intrigued me because it was so light, and it's it basically is the ethos of everything that we believe in 7-spot, light and quick. So back in 1958, you had people who wanted to build a space frame chassis car with a fiberglass shell so they can do club racing. And this is what they came up with. And of course, I guess the mechanicals came from MG with the MGA. So that was what it was. And his car is what it is. It's no longer MGA. It's got Lotus twin cam power. It's truly an amazing car. And I'm looking forward to doing a live stream with him. And I think we've got 3 other Alva Courier owners from the States, 2 of which are on the West Coast, one in LA, the other one in Oregon, and we've got a couple of other guys from back east. So, and Paul's got him.
Yeah,
are you planning to come to
the
the UK?
There, man. Paul, I got to come over there.
Yeah.
In the States, there's nothing. I mean, there are so many people that have the Superformance. There are a lot of Cobras here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because America, but and I see them not infrequently. I don't see a lot here in Middle Tennessee, but the farther east and west, on the East Coast, I've seen a fair few. But I mean, there's 4 or 5, maybe 8 7s in the whole state of Tennessee, and I know I've met 3 of those guys. So, up there you can get 100. What I think the Westfield guy said there was 150 people showed up at Malvern. So, there's just so many more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because the culture it just wasn't a thing here. I think.
Well, the culture began in the UK, right?
Yeah, and in the 60s and 70s here, everything was just bigger and bigger. It's almost like when I see the old Corollas and the RX-3 and all the the Japanese versions of the American muscle cars, I like them better because the proportions are a little more pleasing to me. I don't know.
It's
I wish
an
there were
interesting.
more kids here.
It's an interesting question because we're in North America and we're subject to the whims of our own cultural development. But let's face it. I mean, when we're talking about hot rods back in the 50s, when people came back from World War II, I mean, we're dealing with a completely different mindset about development of automobiles. Is basically you work with what you've got, and you've got a lot of Detroit iron, and it's not light. It's just it's not light.
I put Paul's comment. This is great. So Westfield, I don't know enough of the history, and I'm sure somebody else doesn't. So if Jim, maybe Westfield made a 7 and then they got in trouble.
Yeah, they got sued by the good people the branding and the Caterham people went after them because the Lotus engineering was purchased by Caterham, and the shape was so similar to the Caterham that they were forced at law to change the shape and some of the engineering to make it compliant, so they can avoid being. So they also couldn't call it a 7 anymore. They did. So that's why the branding is different now.
Yeah, I saw that you were going to try to get an interview with M&R.
Yeah.
Since MK puts out so much content, I always end up clicking through their stuff. And they've worked on a couple of M&Rs. The shape of that thing is kind of interesting. It may actually, it seems like it accommodates a much higher motor. And just the ones that I've seen, like they're a little more narrow and a little taller. I kind of dig the look. It's a little more like spaceshipy than the 7. And there's so many. It's so neat that the engines used to only be like 20 inches tall. Because when I see it, I watched this 420R from the guy who's local here. And then I drove Bob's, and like the hood height is just so low. And I wonder on yours if you notice that it seems also that low, but your Busa engine's kind of tall. And like John's got the R1 motor, and they're leaned over, but I don't know. I never see them all parked next to each other. And
I've been parked next to the Caterhams. My car isn't specifically that much taller, but what is different with the Busa Caterhams is they have an intake plenum that's has a bend in the intake plenum, so that their intake plenum is housed below the bonnet, and whereas mine, it pokes out through the bonnet. So there are people who build these low cost based kits, and they will use the existing bike intake plenum, and it just sticks outside the bonnet, and it does change the look. I now M&R, I know, manufactures their own intake plenum, and it avoids that. But you're right. The presentation of the M&R is unique, and I will say this about them: their space frame is incredibly rigid because it's 100% round tube, and it's a tight made for racing type of space frame.
Interesting. Yeah, I've been chatting with a lot of people, some on Low Cost USA, and I asked the question a little bit on the forum page. But I'm like, how did they get those things so light? And somebody said, well, Colin designed the frame and then started taking tubes out until it collapsed. And then he put the last tube he removed. He just threw that one back in and said, that's it.
You can put those two back in, please.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it fell apart when my little 10-year-old niece stepped on it. So we're going to have to put that one support back in.
Yeah. I think there's more to it than that. I know that one of our members, a fellow from Halifax, who has built a number of low costs, has now got a Lotus S3 that he's rebuilding. And when he purchased the vehicle, he found that the frame needed to be rebuilt. So he ordered a new frame from Arch Motors, and it's now back and awaiting to be rebuilt in his shed. But he said he was totally amazed at the difference between the low-cost frame and the brilliance of the Colin Chapman engineering. Just so much lighter, incredibly light.
Yeah, when I see the frames, I mean, because all I'm doing is searching and trying to decide what am I going to copy. When I see the frames, the way the front, almost like the front subframe, everything that's involved in the front suspension and the cowl holder mounting area, and it all ties in. And I'm like, that's so many tubes, but it still weighs nothing. So it very well could just be that they have, in 60 years, obviously, and I'm not an engineer, those guys are going to be way better at everything. And for them to say, all right, we only need like 063 tubing to make this work. And I'm doing everything in 095 because it's what I can get to. And I'm, I don't want to go and die. Just because I made it.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions that popped up is with regard to minis, and Paul asked, what's the mini scene like here in North America? Well, it's a different scene because there's much fewer of them on the road, right? Just like
Yeah, I would say I always thought minis were super cool. I've probably only seen 3 original minis in my whole life.
Yeah.
And, one of them might have been the same one twice. You never know.
Well,
But over there,
look who just popped up. It is Jose Windle, and he's one of our new show hosts, and he's going to pop in and say hi, and we're just going to have a chat about the stuff that he does. Speaking of minis and speaking of sevens, he does both of them, but he's got an interesting story about his take on life. Now, you've got an interesting story on your take on life. You and I are kind of similar in a way that our background probably isn't in engineering kind of stuff, but we don't mind mucking around in the shed. Your background, Dave, is you're an educator and you teach band. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. And well, similarly, Jose is an artist. He's a pianist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's an interesting story for everybody who's a seven head. Is we find lots of different paths take us to where we are. Oh, what do we got here? Brian Brush. Caterham took on the Lotus 7 S4 shape for 1 year. Then and then went back to the Series 3. Yeah. Dutton Phaeton was inspired by the Lotus S4. Cool.
That 4, the Series 4 was not pretty.
No.
Not to offend anybody.
We're waiting for. We're having a little difficulty with Jose. There we go. Jose, are you here?
Are you there? Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
That's cool. Yeah, can hear you loud and clear. Now it looks very sunny where you are. Where are you?
Yeah. And I bet it's very dark where you are.
It's now 6:31 a.m. in Vancouver, British Columbia, and what is it now? 8:30 for Dave, and it's like 2:30. What? 3:30 in the afternoon for you?
Yeah. No, 2:30. No. It's the same hours in Britain.
Okay,
Here
cool.
in Portugal, so.
Well, I did want to take a moment to introduce you. Because you're one of our new show hosts at Seven Spot, and I'm trying to introduce people who have a different take on life, because we got lots of engineers, maybe too many engineers in Seven Spot. So I was explaining to the gathering that Dave, just beside you, it has a similar sort of history in that he's also a musician, and as you are. So yeah. Dave is a saxophonist, am I right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's my degree was in saxophone. I'm a band director, so I do whatever's needed.
Right.
And Jose,
my tutor was it's Jose. You pronounce the J's in Portugal.
I am afraid that our audio is not quite perfect. I assume that you're on your Wi-Fi. Is that right?
Oh Christ! Oh damn it! Yeah. Can I just 1 second? I completely forgot.
Yeah. Why don't you back out and come back in? We'll get that sorted out.
Okay. Done. Well, just 1 second.
It's all fixable.
Damn it.
Yeah. Live streams are wonderful for this. And now he's completely frozen. That's even better.
Nah, he'll be back.
Yeah.
He's a piano guy.
He is a piano guy. You've been following him, obviously.
No, you mentioned it, so.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's cool. Well, he's got an interesting channel, and I'm going to put that in the link below too, because his story is interesting because he does work with his dad on minis and on their Westfield and on their Cobra replica. So, yeah, it's interesting.
He hit all the bases.
Yeah, he did, but approach is kind of an interesting approach because it's kind of similar to what you do, and I have done privately without making a public display of myself, is that he's very human about the process, of him making errors publicly on his YouTube. So looks like he's making an attempt to come back in and says, oh, here we go. Are you here?
He'll be here.
Yeah.
See the
So
great
is that-
spinning ring.
Yeah. I suspect that he might be using his.
No, he's there.
Yeah. Are you
Sorry.
back? No
Sorry.
worries. The audio sounds much better now. So welcome back. I was explaining to the world that Dave and you share an interesting background in that you're both musicians to start with. And then secondarily, both of your channels are a kind of a candid and self-deprecating look at the mistakes that we all can make and do make when we build our cars. But you are honest enough to display them publicly.
Constantly, indirectly. Yeah, I suppose I try to be. I don't know. It's just my style, I suppose. What's hiding? When I don't call. We're not professionals by any means. That's why I put beginning in my new series. Do not follow everything literally what we do.
Yeah.
So it's a slow channel series.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and also the part that I really like is like I'm not an Instagrammer per se. I do have an Instagram channel. I don't do enough on it, but you post an awful lot of really terrific photographic work, and I really admire the work that you do. It really is great. So I'm looking forward to developing that side of it with you for the spot too, because it's terrific stuff.
Yeah. Oh, if somebody's is there 7 now registered? Yeah, ages ago. Registered. Actually, it was. Yes, it was very problematic. It was JT. It must be one of your followers. Yeah, it was quite problematic. Yes, it's been registered in 2020. No, sorry, 2021. I'm correct.
Yeah.
I'm correct.
And that's the Westfield, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yes, the Westfield. Yeah.
And tell us about your Cobra replica.
The Pilgrim. It's a 1991 Pilgrim Sumo Mark II, based on the Ford 14er Mark III. It's powered by the 1.6 Pinto.
Yeah.
So it was. How should I say? There was that Pilgrim did in the 90s, which was the super economy version, and this car is the model in which he just used everything, pretty much everything, mechanical, gearbox, diff, suspension, chassis, and body is Pilgrim Zone. Completely over-engineered. He said to my dad when he bought the kit, I could have made it a bit lighter because it weighs a ton, a bit more than the original Cobra, if I'm not mistaken. And that's with the Pinto. So imagine with a V8, it's probably a wee bit heavier than a one.
Well, along that line, I would like to take us on a little bit of a journey into your Pilgrim, if that makes any sense to you. Is that all right with you? So let's just do that's one moment I have to learn how to play it.
Oh, God. So, I didn't know you could do
and
this.
Away we go. So what do you think? Which one sounds better, Jose?
Either one. I like both the Pilgrim Zone exhaust system that they developed specifically for the Pinto. I think it makes unique.
Yeah.
So what's the firing order on the Pinto? Is it 1324? Is that why they've got it paired that way?
To be honest with you, I would not know. I'll have to go down to the manual. Probably.
I can look it up, doesn't matter. I think that thing sounds great. I always like that sound.
Well, it's very unique exhaust system. Well, it's just unique. It's just a pipe and one silencer. Yeah, firing. It's 1342. I think.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah, 1342.
And they've paired 1 and 4. So yeah, so you got two far apart and too close together. It's just they sound so neat.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a proper the Pinto in a Ford Pinto, an actual American model. So that's the Cobra's. Well, the Pilgrim. It's not a Cobra. It's a Pilgrim. It's, sound is the only sound I ever heard So I would never know the standard exhaust system of the Corsa or / Pinto from factories. So
well, Jose, I think we've got a lead for one of your next or an upcoming live stream here for you, because we got Paul Miniburger Wide here. He's got a whole host of a community of mini builders, and I'm going to put the lead there together so that you, as a mini guy, can perhaps do a live stream with him. I think it'd be good content for your channel. What do you think?
Yeah, gladly. Yeah. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you again for inviting me. So yeah, gladly with Paul. Yeah.
So Paul, you better run and hide because Jose will be after you.
Oh yeah, Paul, you should check out Jose's Instagram. It's got a lot. He's got the Mini After 8 project. I put it in the chat so you can check it later.
Just to be straight, are we Jose or are we Jose? Tell us the truth.
If I was Spanish, it'd be Jose. Portugal is Jose. It's like Joseph.
There you go, Jose. Thank you. That's cool.
Well, actually, if you want to really pronounce it in the Portuguese, José. Yeah, it's almost
I'll
like
take your word for it.
But frankly, I prefer the British and Americans to José. It just doesn't sound right. It's an odd. It's a complicated accent.
Thanks, David. You know what? We're getting more and more presence on the internet, and gosh, I'm going to blow my own horn a little bit. You know, I'm looking back over the vast eons of time since we started 7 Spot and doing live streams. I got to tell you that when I started doing these things, it was basically to save my humanity or my sanity during the lockdown and the pandemic, because we had a situation where everybody was isolated at home, and I reached out to use StreamYard just because it gave me the opportunity to speak to another human being. And I remember talking to people all over the world, but it was literally just me in my basement reaching out. And all of a sudden, 7 Spot seems to have picked up since then. And boy, we're going strong. We've got new show hosts coming on. We got great people providing content, like with Trevor and Jason with the YouTube work they do, and now with Dave and Jose. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
As I'm saying, there's a world of 7, there's a world of minis, there's a world of Cobras, and it's all about light and fantastic. So we're really looking forward to working with you, Jose. It's fabulous.
I'm glad. No, I'm very thankful to include me in Seven's fantastic. Great. Yeah, I hope I can provide some.
Don't be so self-deprecating. I've watched the quality of your work and the craftsmanship you put into it. I mean, you're meticulous. Let's be candid.
Yeah, I do think do little details that normally YouTubers wouldn't bother putting. You know, like the sound and to avoid using music all because typical thing that YouTube is full of crap. And I'm always finding just bits here and there. I'll make my own music, but it's even more time consuming. You sang a few. As Dave, I'm pretty sure you know.
Oh man, I scored a whole production of The Tempest 2 years ago, and took a while, man. I don't have enough time to write something for every YouTube video.
God no. 30 seconds. No, 8 seconds for my series, and that took me at. That was
Yeah.
Not get it right, and I just thought, something will diminish, end up in major odd, you know. So yeah. That's why I and then finding music that's free is oh god, especially from that they're not YouTube from the YouTube audio library. It's just, frankly, I try to avoid it at all costs because I'm just scared in future something will happen in terms of legality.
Yeah.
Then I've got a video that I can't monetize it. Not that I can monetize anything at the moment, but yeah. Trying to avoid any issues.
That day will be coming soon. Don't worry when your monetization. I mean, if that's what the goal is for me, it never was. I think I never really wanted to develop a YouTube channel. I just enjoyed the Facebook community, and that's really what it was about for me, and still is. I mean, it's all about the community of sevens, and that's what I was. Yeah.
Well. Sorry. Go.
Oh, I was just going to say we're developing a little bit of an audio loop with your connection, so I'm going to wish you the very best, and I'm going to say I'm going to look forward to seeing you at 7 Spot, and I'm going to work with you to see if we can collude to get more content for you and from you.
Okay,
and Dave's sending me a private message saying, "Am I getting a weird audio loop in the background?"
Yes, my dad actually just messaged me saying there's echoing.
It happened to me when we were recording our first one, Jim, too. So I don't know what it's about. It's like connected to 2 devices or something.
It's unfortunate, I guess. One thing about the life of live streams is there's like live radio back in the old days when errors can happen and everything can crash and burn because that's what it does. But it's because it's live, and there can be mistakes that happen. And in some of the shows that we do, like when we do a recorded one, we can get people to tune in advance and calibrate our audio and get things all tuned in. But when they're impromptu and extemporaneous, such as they are today, sometimes errors can happen.
Indeed. Maybe, I don't know. It's just maybe there's too many. Well, it is the weekend, so it's probably quite a crowded. The internet's quite crowded. Maybe.
Well, I don't think honestly, I don't know if it's that. It's probably just a setup glitch that I probably will take on the blame. I've neglected to work through, and so Jose, I'm going to say thanks so much for being with us today, and I'm going to tune you out for now. But I am going to put you together with Paul and see if you can do an interview with him, because he's got some very interesting stuff. I'll put a link to their Facebook group so that you can investigate, and it's stuff that I'm sure you will just love because it's right up your alley.
Cheers. No, thank you, Jim. I appreciate
All right.
it. And thank you again for inviting me. So
cheers for
all
now.
The best.
All right.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
Bet.
Cheers.
I'll shoot you a message, man.
Yeah, all right. Cheers. Bye now. Okay, it's the two of us again. How you doing, Dave?
Man, I'm good. I'm gonna have to go hang out with that guy on the internet.
Yeah. Oh no, you guys have got the same thing going on for sure.
Yeah, piano guys, we're a different breed because you can't just show up to the gig with your horn.
No.
I mean, you can, but it's really awkward to like bring a truck everywhere you go. So, but yeah, I started on piano because the choice was KitFest website. Where is that? Let me see if I can find it. Throw it in here, or maybe you can post it. JTM 2003 Dad KitFest website. I'm kind of fooling around here. Let me see if I can find it.
You should be able to do that.
Well, it's not the Kenya International Theater Festival. That's not what it is.
KitFest Northwest Kit Car Owners.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this one. Oh, that's from Santa Pod. Is this the video? I wonder. I think John's probably gone right now, but that video that he had made and put together from when he was at that show was awesome. I can't remember who his videographer was, but that guy did great work. JTM, I'm not sure if that's what you were looking for, but I threw it up on the stream. So I don't know how the clicking works on this. Well, it doesn't look like I can actually click on it, but anyway, it's in the chat. But I don't know if that's this. Oh yeah, when is KitFest? It's like end of August, September. Let me look. Let's see if I can. It's at Santa Pod again, 12-13 August. So coming up. Man, you guys, I mean, this is like 4 weekends in the summer where you can just go and look at all kinds of stuff. And I'm sure there are similar things here in the States, but North America is just way bigger than England. So it takes a long time to drive to places that are 2 states away. I think I feel like that's where we get hung up on things. Everything ends up being so localized. Like there's stuff that I would want to go to in New York, but it's 800 miles from here.
Yeah, exactly.
Something,
it's a big event.
Drive. Yeah. And I don't have a car trailer, so I'm not going to go trailer my project to a thing that's 6 hours one way from home. Chris Sadler. Yeah. Yeah, that production was awesome.
Wow. Well, JTM is clearly still in the chat.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
Yeah. And there's...
Well,
oh, what a drag. Well...
Gonna have to make... That's a tough decision, Paul. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
You can go one time. That was our rule. You can try anything once.
Well, you got a good
make
wife.
A careful choice, though. Oh, this is funny. So today in where is Seven Spot Trevor? It's Malvern today.
No, they're in Newark.
No, that was before.
Yeah.
Oh, Newark, where it's raining real bad.
Yeah.
So he's set up like he's going to do a stream like from his stand, or is he going to walk around and do that? I don't remember what.
Well, John is not going to be there today. He's going to be there tomorrow, and I'm going to have to set up a separate link for tomorrow, and we'll wing it. Or either that, or I'll get him to just go live by himself. I know that one of our other show hosts, Kevin Broomhead, who works at GBS, is going to be coming on tomorrow, and he's got something special he'd like to talk to us about. But tomorrow, Northwest Kit Car Owners Group has something special that they want to do, and they will be going live. I just have to calibrate myself so I'm awake and here to tune in with them. So that's as much as I know. We'll find out.
I'm putting the photo, a link to the gallery here, the Kit Fest gallery.
Well,
Because there's so many, it's just awesome. I don't know. I'm sure that there is following for other certain things here. You know, I mean, I live near Kentucky, so when the Corvette Festival happens, they're everywhere.
Well, here's a learning opportunity for the both of us, because you're a show host. So if you go down to the little tab on the bottom, it says present. One of the opportunities that presents itself is a share screen. So you can actually go hit that share screen button, and you can go along you can scroll across the tabs on the top and open up the tab that represents the one that you want to show. And for instance, and there we go. Look at that.
Cool. Yeah. Very handy.
So.
Yeah, this line, I don't know if you see my cursor or not. I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
But the line, the hood line on the different sevens is what really gets me. Like the wheel height to hood height. You know, when I got my frame, it had 25.4 17-inch Mustang wheels on it. And it looked weird to me, but it also, I mean, the proportions were right because my hoop was so high. But it just seemed like the wheels were so big compared to what I was looking at in pictures. And you know, I'm going to have a scoop in my hood to clear the engine, but I'm also not going to, you know, I'm not going to make it huge. It's not going to be a muscle car scoop size. So
is that because of the height of the K?
The K, mine, because it's a K24, it's 25 inches from pan to top. And, you know, when we're talking with Jose about those Pinto engines, they were like 20, 21. And, you know, that's a huge amount of difference for clearance in the bottom. When I drove Bob's, I don't have those pictures on here. When I drove Bob's, he had cracked the pan.
Yeah, he mentioned.
He cracked that pan, and he has a new skid plate. But he said, man, I've never seen it go down the road. It looks really low. And I found a picture, you know, my dad went with me because they're the friend connection there. And that thing looks like it is touching the ground, but it is a whole extra, like it's got space below the pan to protect it and all this and that. But those are the things that I'm primarily concerned with because I'm driving this thing on the road. And, you know, some of the roads around here are, shall we say, ignored.
Yeah.
And I got speed bumps at work, so I can't drive it to work to show the kids and let the engineering classes do. JTM, they're tall.
Yeah.
But with the 4 inches extra length in my frame, I can set it. I'm setting it back farther from the front wheels. So my scoop shouldn't have to be like some of them. I saw the other day a guy, an English guy, he had to cut his nose cone to clear the front of it. Like he took a chunk out of his nose cone to make his scoop because for whatever reason, it was just the engine had to be mounted that far forward. And I was like, ooh, I don't really want to do that. But I don't even have a nose cone yet anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, those are the interesting problems that present themselves as you go forward. I know that other 7 owners have the similar problem with that oil pan hanging down pretty low, and skid plates are not uncommon.
Yeah, I asked because I know the MK guys have done 2 or 3 of these. They've got one that they did with an S2000 engine. I don't know if they started that project or it was brought to them, the orange camo car. And then they've done at least 2 other K20 motors, but the 20 engine, the 20 motor is engine is like 3/4 of an inch or 1 4-pot racing. Oh yeah. I don't know if it's 4-pot or 4-piston, but 4-piston does like a complete billet everything. They've got
Mm-hmm.
the timing cover. They have a whole billet block, I think. I mean, you could spend like 18 grand to make yourself this 1,000 horsepower capable sleeved. But then there's guys running 700 horsepower at the track with a big turbo with stock internals on K24. So it's wild. If you get the right year, then you've got stronger rods. But the 20 is almost an inch shorter, just because that's where they got the extra half liter.
Yeah.
But MK, Sean put it there. He's like, here's an 80 mil board, and he slid it right under there. And then I'm going in millimeters to inches. But, 3.5 inches of clearance, I guess, is enough for most people from the pan. But I'm probably going to run some sort of protection, at least in the front edge, because who knows? If I scrape a protector, I'm fine with that. But I don't really want to drag. And I have the steel pan.
And you don't want to be dragging or peeing out oil all the way, until you run dry. That's awful.
Because it's a long way from the rear view mirror till you see your oil slick, and it's probably empty by then.
Yeah, and that's never a good thing.
Yeah. Some guys are using the K20 aluminum pan because there's a different dimple in it, but I just made the dimple in my steel pan for the pickup height is very slightly different from that oil pump that I put on. But yeah, I mean, the people like those engines, and they could make a ton of power, but I don't, seeing everybody driving around in a 7 that's got 170 horsepower and feeling like it's just fantastic. I would rather not feel like I'm going to lose it just if I accidentally put my foot down too far. Yeah. So
I can testify that I have lost it with 170 odd horsepower. Mind you, my car weighs 1,000 pounds. So.
Yeah, but see, how'd you get it so low? I mean, your whole engine with trans is like 192 pounds.
186 pounds.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's and it's so closely geared. It's just very easy to make a mistake.
So, what rear end do you have in yours?
I have a 2001 Ford Thunderbird. Different, and it handles plenty of power.
7.5, I think, is those.
Yeah, it's beefy, and it's let's see, what are we at 3? I'm trying to remember the diff ratio. I have to look it up, but it's pretty close. It's like 4.3, I think, is the diff ratio.
Oh, okay.
And it works plenty good. And what I like about it was it's fully independent. So, and I know this is not a concern that you're worried about because you've done what you need to do to work with that Miata, but there are people who've had to stiffen or reinforce that Miata differential to handle excess power.
Oh yeah, I'm putting plates on both wings.
Yeah,
the same way they do at MK. They actually had that in one of their videos. They're like, every time we put one of these in there.
Yeah.
And I get that it's designed for that to break instead of for your whole driveline to crumple.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not going to be on the menu, but I'll brace that with probably some 3/16 plate that I've got sitting around here. But there's there are a lot of options and things to consider. I did look at that, like a Thunderbird rear end complete.
Oh, you did?
I first had Ford when my car, because it had Ford parts on it.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't need spacers if you did that.
Well, I don't know what is I don't remember what the track width was. Mm-hmm. I probably should have just done that, but then I still have these 80-pound knuckle wheel combinations per corner, and I wanted to save weight there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I switched to all Miata running gear, like we talked about before. But I believe it's the same rear end that's in the 96, 97 Cougar. But
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Well, because I found a 97 Cougar at the junkyard.
Uh-huh.
I know that it's still independent, 7.5. But I think the knuckle is different, and the hub, the bolt spacing on the hubs is really wonky. Like it's it's the 4 3/4 or 4. It's something that is not as common, and it's tricky to buy wheels for.
Okay.
And then I would have different spacing front and different bolt
Yeah,
pattern
yeah.
rear, and I didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah, that would be weird.
But
Yeah.
but this to me is the advantage of people producing actual kits. You know, it doesn't matter that you know, GBS is making their own uprights, but they're still using a hub that you can buy and bolt in. And MK makes they have some bespoke uprights that they use as well, but you can still buy a hub and bolt it in. And whether it's like in Britain, that seems that like Sierra parts are still at least available, but now a lot of people are still just moving towards the Miata side of things because they're even more available.
Much more available.
But if you've got somebody that is going to manufacture the part for you, those guys are being really smart and looking to the future and selecting items that are going to be available and are readily available instead of like, oh man, I wonder if I can still get a Mark II Escort rear end. You know, they're becoming prohibitively expensive. And now I think GBS might be doing an NC Miata swap because they're using the Duratec, and they might be making a kit that includes the NC rear diff, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know that
about that, because the NA and B Miatas, you know, those are 20 years old now too.
Yeah.
I have an NC diff that I bought by accident, so I have an open NC diff. If one of the 5 people that's watching wants it,
yeah. There you go. Well, now we know why your shed is full.
Oh man, yeah, Land Cruiser parts, everything. I got spare broken down motor from my diesel Mercedes. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff here.
Yeah. Well, I've been mucking out our shed, as you can see right here, to make room for the studio. And what I have done with all the junk that I've accumulated, I've got it in a storage locker now.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, we emptied our storage unit back into the garage, so
there you go.
It would force me to take care of stuff. Yeah, Paul says the axles are going up in price. I bet. I don't know how it works if you're going to break something, if you snap the axle first or if you grind the diff first. I would bet that the axle dies before the diff, and then that could be really tricky. And I also don't know about like the length. You know, if I could find 2-inch longer axles with the same CV joint, I would have used that and moved the suspension, then I wouldn't have to use spacers. But I know, you know, with cars built to the spec, kind of the rear of what the rear ends that were available, you know, that's why the guys over here have an easier time, because they put a Mustang rear end in it and they can make the car wider.
Yeah.
Like a 442, the Mustang solid axle fits fine. And all of the independent Mustangs have basically the same track width, I think probably plus or minus a ½ inch from what I've fiddled with.
And how much would that set you back these days?
To like buy a whole rear subframe out of a Mustang?
Out of a Mustang, yeah.
I mean, I think, I don't want to say years because I'll get it wrong, but the swap, there are people selling complete rear subframes for $1,500-$1,800 with the diff, the subframe, the axles, hubs, caliper. I mean, you can go on eBay and find like a whole Mustang IRS to swap, but I don't know that many people are doing that. There's somebody over here who's on Jay Leno's show. He has a car that looks like a giant 7. He's using Cadillac parts.
Oh, okay.
Like out of a CTS-V. So the thing makes, I don't know, some silly amount of power. And it is quite large, but for a 7, it's quite large, but he's not calling it that. Anyway, but so yeah, the parts availability and the design constraints, if you're going from the ground up, I think it's like regionally different.
Yeah.
You know,
it sounds like we got more potential donors over here than what's available in the UK.
Well, it depends if you want it to also be light.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We don't have to have drop in a piece of Detroit iron under the hood.
No, there's a guy, there's a channel that I watched because they swapped a K motor into I don't know if it was a Birkin. I would have to go look. I don't feel like that was the brand, but he had a bunch of Chevy S10 parts.
Yeah.
So he had that truck, transmission, rear end, all the spindles and knuckles were all from that. And this shop was like keeping it running for the guy. And then he said, let's put a Honda motor in it. So they had done that swap. So I was looking there for parts, but that's another popular one. Even on Low Cost USA, they're like, why don't you just use S10 parts? And apparently they're, it was it was an extra light truck and there were a zillion of them.
Yeah, I actually seen some of that stuff on Low Cost USA. It's interesting avenue to go down.
Yeah, and then a few other people use the Mustang 2, which obviously has nothing to do with the Mustang. But I think those are the same as the Pinto spindles. I think Pinto Mustang 2 is the same, but maybe not. And we have those on Speedway motors here in North America. Yeah, Paul's saying like legally things are getting. Oh, I hit it when you did it.
I must hit it at the same time you did.
Yeah, legally things are getting tricky. Here they're trying to pass. I don't think that it will pass, but the rules about modifying your own vehicle are getting more and more strict. But I'm in Tennessee, so mostly they don't care. I think the process is a bit fiddly here. It's like easier in other states. If you make a custom car, it's easier to do it in California somehow, even though they have crazy, very heavy restrictions on all of their production things.
Yeah.
You can make whatever you want.
Yeah.
That guy.
Similar situation in up here in Canada. The individual provinces have different rules for setting up for doing kit cars. Where I live, it's quite bureaucratic. Processes is torturous, but happily, when I built mine back in early 2000, it wasn't so bureaucratically intensive, and I managed to get it inspected and a VIN plate put on it early enough. But I'm told that even doing it from a kit now and getting it road registered is difficult.
So do you guys have like a different titling process for different provinces?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Back in Ontario, whereas basically it's our auto industry mecca, because it's right across the border from Detroit. They encourage people to go out and muck about in the shed, whereas here, not so much out in the West Coast.
Yeah, Jose just asked, do they do emissions? Well, I believe they would in certain. There's no more emissions here.
Yeah,
I'm in
same here.
Davidson County, which is the city of Nashville is in there, and we had they canceled the emissions requirements for a bunch of the surrounding counties. For where I used to live, 2 counties south of here, no emissions. But we moved, and then there was emissions. So I had to fix the EGR valve check engine light on my Land Cruiser, fixed that, finally got that done. 3 months later, no more emissions for Davidson County. So I was like, hey, at least it's fixed. But now they're just basically not doing emissions in most counties here in Tennessee. There are a couple that have they keep it in places where there's a lot of watershed things that feed other rivers or bodies of water. I think they've still kept those in a few places, but mostly they're canceled here. But there was also almost no safety inspection. You can drive around here with a mostly cracked windshield, and they're like, hey, good luck. It's a little weird. It seems similar in Maryland. There's one safety inspection ever, but then it's emissions every year there. So let's see. I'll put Paul's thing here. He says he has a copy of one of his cars from the 70s, and it was a guy who came around from DVLA. That's like their Is that the emissions people? DVLA is it's like the roadworthy. It's not IVA or whatever the other one was.
Really couldn't tell you. I know that the process that Jose is commenting on right now was quite involved for him because he bought his Westfield in England and then brought it to Portugal, and getting it road registered in Portugal was, needless to say, extremely difficult.
DVLA is the driver and vehicle licensing agency. That's the one. I knew I had seen that somewhere else. And then JTM Dad saying, IVA. The only reason I know anything about this is because of the MK guys, because they're like doing they show all their IVA prep videos, which is actually pretty interesting to me, that they've got everything working really well. But theirs is based on the age of the engine, not the date the car's registered. And that is an issue here. It depends. In some states, you can only, if you're going to change something, you have to use a newer engine, and then your car becomes registered as that year. It's registration is a big tricky thing. And I guess that's probably part of the reason there are maybe fewer kits now, because all those guys know they've got to go through IVA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
and the manufacturers have got emission standards that they have to meet now as a manufacturer, as a small manufacturer. So it's a tight little ship that they have to operate.
Yeah, and it pushes the cost up if you're going to have to. If every vehicle that you put out now has to have a crate motor in it,
Mm-hmm.
A Duratec crate motor from Ford is X amount. Plus, you got to get an ECU that works. And I think the GBS guys are running a lot of things on the Link ECU, which is apparently fantastic. It's just managing things that are already there, but you never see a kit car with like a lot of emissions stuff on it. Most people are running cats now. They're keeping the cat on because it's, it is better. It probably doesn't smell as much, but I don't know. It's becoming trickier and trickier as all the regular requirements are raised for, I think most of it is just for emissions.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But then IVA has like every edge on your car has to have a certain radius. So if you hit somebody walking across the street, you won't cut their leg off. And they just don't think about that stuff here.
No.
Somebody does, but it hasn't made it into a law.
Although I will say that even way back when, it brings back humorous memories of when I registered mine. We had at that time a 3-ring binder, which was a road registration manual. It told you how to build your car, what specifications, and it said what height you had to build a bumper. And I had to put a bumper on my car. Of course, it somehow magically fell off after I was registered, but that's just the way it was. And the bumper had to be a certain height up, and as it so happened, it was higher. Well, it didn't completely interfere, but it rose to the level and above of the lights. So I had to move my lights even higher up, and they looked ridiculous, I gotta say. But
yeah, there was a guy that built. He did basically a whole tube frame to hold like a '95 Mustang parts. I think he's in New Jersey, and I believe he had to put a little extra bumper on the back. And in California, some of the guys get pulled over because their headlights are too low to the ground. Yeah, that's the same thing you probably had. It's like, it's the center of the headlight's got to be
exactly right
or something, and they're like, I lowered my car 1 inch, and then now they're doing noise violation too, which is difficult. Yeah, that's not a quick fix for most people.
No. The glass pack of mine is probably not helping an awful lot.
Oof.
But I'm a hooligan, an old one. Well, it
Yeah,
looks like
all this stuff is very interesting, and yeah, I would like to go across the pond and meet up with some people, just look at stuff, to have the opportunity to see that many different things in one place, because it's like going to a motorcycle show here. You can have 100 of the same thing, but everybody's done something a little different.
Yeah.
Oh, I use this different seat pad, or like I moved my shifter here, or I got this tunnel cover, or mine has a scoop because I used this wonky motor, but I didn't want to use this intake. So I've,
Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of sevens. There are always different people doing things differently, and that's been the genesis of sevens. There is no one seven that's identical to another one, because it's the different parts, but everybody's got a different spin on it. You talked on what MNR doing with what they're doing, and it's completely different presentation. I like it. It's wonderful looking seven, but it's completely different presentation from what you'd expect.
Yeah, Paul mentioned stuff magically falls off once it gets the sticker.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably going to happen here too.
Yeah.
I asked a few different places, mostly the guys on Grassroots Motorsports over here, about running like harnesses in a cage, because I see a lot of people. I mean, all the caterums are coming with like four. Yeah, I would love to come to Kit Fest. It's might get in trouble if I just left town right when school starts, but I mean, my kids would probably still just go to class and practice. They did it last year. Not my children, my students. I don't have kids. Yeah. Anyway, this thing about harnesses on the street, and do you have the anti-submarine strap in your harness? Like those are things that like I am concerned about. A lot of people don't seem to be at all. And you watch all these guys that get the loan of a caterum for the week, they just go bombing around. But here, the Grassroots Motorsports guys are like, listen, if you're going to run a harness, it's got to be 6 points. And if you've got a cage, you need to wear a helmet every time, because accidents around here, there's so many traffic issues. Like I'm probably now not going to put any kind of full cage. I'll run my rear hoop, and I may put something inside the windshield just so people don't grab the windshield and to get out. But I don't think I'm going to brace mine, because I'm just going to run 3-point belts most of the time. But do you have harnesses or 3 points in yours, Jim?
I have a 3-point on mine, and it's exactly the same as you described. I do not have a full cage. I'm not going to take my car to the track. I'm going to drive. I drive my car as if it were a motorcycle. I make the assumption that everybody is out there to kill me, and that's the way I drive.
Yeah. That's the way I ride the bike around here too. It's like NASCAR.
Well, the thing about it is it's light, and the thing about North American cars is they're not.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to become part of a sandwich. So there you go.
Yeah, if somebody drove through here in a Renault Wind or a Nissan Micra, they would just get laughed at, because I mean, a Fiat 500 doesn't even seem like that's the tiniest car you can find here, and it's still kind of normal size. The Minis are big. The new Minis are big. I'm going to put this whole thing in there. Paul got a story here. It's the best thing for me is the car is both the same. Yeah, I get it. Like, you're the one you signed the dotted line, so make it what you want. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I guess, the beauty of mucking about in a shed is you do. It's a matter of expression. I made a joke. Go ahead. I was just going to say, after I went through the experience of building the bumpers to satisfy the regulatory process, and built my headlights to meet the requirements, I took the bumper off at front and rear because they're just way too hideous. But I did leave the headlights up for about, I don't know, I'm going to say about a year, just simply because I just was enjoying driving the car. But it took a while to
to get used to the visual presentation of having the frog eyes extended on pods above where they would normally be.
It's like in snail mode.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it was an expression artistically that I enjoyed for a little while, and it was certainly different. But after I came to my senses, I lowered the headlights too.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, Paul, same thing. I made a joke in my first video, just in passing. I have, a bucket of parts from Mercedes diesel engine, and I needed an M8 125 bolt to plug this oil passage. I was like, well, I wonder if the Honda gods will be mad for this Mercedes bolt jammed in this engine.
Yeah.
I was like, it's the only e-Torx bolt in the whole car, and it'll never come out. It's hidden in the oil pan, but I know it's there.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the custom, or kit built or home fashioned anything that makes it fun. Oh man, I ran out of things, but you'll never believe what fits in there.
Yeah.
Some of those, the guys on the forum, low cost, the UK low cost group is a wealth of information for that. And probably every group where people they just care about it. Oh man, go to the store and get this thing off of this weird shelf system, and it will fit right in that bolt, and it's got just enough shoulder that it doesn't rub, and you can lay your bracket on it. That guy, Oliver Picard, guy building the Mosquito, they're dealing with that stuff too. I've tried to watch a lot of his videos, and
I would love it if he'd go live with us for a quick show. That would be just too much. He's in France, and he says that he's got internet issues where he's at. So.
Oh yeah, well, everybody that's in this type of community seems very helpful. There are other communities where there's like a purist aspect, and they get really mad when you do it yourself. But it seems like on this side of things, it's like, hey, it works, right?
Yeah. Well, I can, as I said, my background is certainly not mechanical, and when I was building mine, even from a kit. My kit was about 6 pages deep and not particularly well documented, and I needed a lot of help. And just like you mentioned, the Low Cost USA, they were a great help, but the mother of all mothers, the Low Cost UK site was amazing. I was just totally blown away with all the help you can find there.
What is the NEC? I think you already posted that NEC classic car. Which one is that?
I do not know.
Oh, Paul just said they took the mini kit and did great. Came back with a win.
Oh,
the mini kit, nice.
Well, we're going to have to investigate that. Now I've made it Jose's business to track down Paul and make a show out of that, so we can expect to participate in that one day soon too.
Yeah, mini. Man, it's too bad that they didn't sell a lot of them here, because they are very expensive to find in the States. Man, if you see one that's just completely rusted out, it's still $13,000.
Yeah.
And, but Miata prices are crazy now too.
Yeah. Well,
you can't.
Same here.
It's probably the same. Biggest show car classic car in the UK, NEC. I feel like NEC. No, not New England Conservatory. NEC Classic Motor Show. I'll put the link on the thingy.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Here, I'm sure everybody else knows about this except me. That's the best part.
And me, apparently.
Well, we're about to.
National Exhibition Center in Birmingham. Is that what we're talking about?
No, I'm talking about this.
Okay.
This, I believe, and Paul can correct me if.
Yeah.
Who's exhibiting? All right, real images, Lancaster Insurance, and auctions. Now that would be super directory tickets. And when is this? 10 to 12 November. All right. I mean, like, you guys just have that stuff and we don't. Anyway, yeah, great. Thanks, Paul, for the confirmation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's 2 shows a month. There's just not that. Here we have LS Fest, right? And that's like, I mean, that's central. But guys drive from all over the place. But that's just about one engine. But stuff goes to LS Fest. I mean, you know, here in North America, everybody LS swapping everything because they're easy to find. They came in 1 billion cars.
Yeah.
They're not expensive. They're light. I think that's the biggest thing, you know.
Yeah.
You can jam that engine in a lot of engine bays. It's not too wide. It's not too tall. It's really not that long front to back. Any fan will work on any radiator.
Yeah.
And it's like, everybody makes mounts for anything. You're like, hey, I mean, there's probably a Mini with an LS in it here somewhere. I mean, it's not got no back seat. And it's probably running an Audi transaxle, which is like a really popular one for guys who want to do rear engine stuff. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's interesting because the moment you said that, I was thinking automatically my mind switched to Carmen Gia. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's got to be a zillion swaps with Carmen Gias with the big V8s. And just like you say, there's no replacement for displacement. So there's lots of those that have been made. I'm absolutely certain of it.
Yeah, but there's also no replacement for a Carmen Gia body shell because it's like one giant piece, right? Isn't it like it's only very few panels or something?
Yeah, it's just one flexible panel on the bottom. But all of those things can be fixed with a welded tube, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, all the things that can be done in your shed with a welder. So we've been on here for 2 hours and 1 minute, and I got to say, thanks a lot, Dave.
Good times.
Yeah.
And I learned a whole bunch. Now I'm going to go look up some of these other people.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of work to do I was hoping that we get some people popping in from the show, but that hasn't happened today. I guess I'll be tuning in tomorrow and see if that happens. But unfortunately, the gods of weather have not looked favorably on us, so we'll just have to leave it at that. Oh, the car behind me, Paul, is my sister-in-law's '56 Thunderbird, and it was her daily driver for many years. And my wife and I live with her, and one happy family. And I love having it here behind me, and perhaps I'll be swapping it out from time to time with my 7. So we'll keep the eye candy available for the shows. So looking forward to doing another show with you soon, Dave. And I'm going to. And do you have any final thoughts?
Learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid. And I'm human. So with that, I'm going to say thanks for being with us again. And I guess we'll see you at 7 Spot.
That's right.
Cheers. All right. Cheers. You bet. Bye now.